Alrighty, welcome guys to Campfire Guitar Player Singer 101. I'm going to take you for a walk through all the steps you need to get through to make sure that you're ready to perform at your next campfire party with all your friends. Check it out. Alright, first of all, you're going to need a guitar. So, get yourself a guitar. You're going to need some water because you're going to be singing lots, and you're going to need a tuner to make sure your guitar is in tune. Now, on the guitar itself, I want to point out a couple of things that isn't necessarily quite noticeable to the new guitar player, but I want to make sure you guys are aware of it. Make sure the strap is fitting you comfortably, that the guitar hangs nicely in front of you, or if you're going to be sitting, you might not need a strap. Personally, when I sing, I like to be standing. It gives me a great, better feeling. Lungs are working full, and you feel a bit more confident with your approach. You can move a little bit. You can interact with your people a little bit more. Sitting also as well, but your diaphragm will be cramped a little bit, so it depends on your style, what you like. These are called tuning pegs, otherwise known as machine heads. This is your nut. This is the head of the guitar. This is the neck of the guitar. These little middle things are called frets. Of course, you know the names of the strings. If you don't, they are called E, A, D, G, B, and E. Make sure you memorize that. I also want you guys to memorize the names of the notes on each string. So E, first fret is F on the E string. Okay, so first string E. Okay, I want you to remember the names of the notes on the E string. So first fret would be F, F sharp. The first dot is G, G sharp. The second dot is A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, and E. You'll notice there's no B sharp and there's no C flat. We'll get into that later. You get the idea. Second string, I want you to memorize this as well. A sharp, B. First dot is C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A. So write that out on paper, put it in front of you, go over it every day, and just play them and memorize them. Play them and memorize them. It's really important you do because we're going to put bar chords over the top of those shortly. Alright, the rest of the guitar. This is the body of the guitar. This is called the bridge. In the case of acoustic guitar, you have pegs that actually hold the strings into the guitar. Now, I have what are called 11s. So the very top string, my E string, is an 11. You can talk to your guitar people at your music store and get a set of 11s put onto your guitar. I've also had my guitar set up by a Lutheran. So the nut itself has been cut, so the distance between the first fret and the second fret is pretty much, as far as the string, as far as the height of the string goes, the distance between the first fret, you can see how much distance there is between the first fret and the second fret. All right, the second fret to the third fret, you can see how much distance there. That's almost the same distance as the open nut to the first fret. It shouldn't be much more of a distance there. A lot of guitars have a huge gap between the nut and that first fret, like you could easily slide the pick underneath it. You want them to bring the cut the nut and bring the action down on that side. Also on this side too, the bridge, the height of the strings coming off the bridge, depending on the height of your first or your last fret here, this height can also be brought down as well. So that's really important to make it a pleasurable experience for you to play your guitar, especially when it comes to bar chords up high. Now, one more thing I'll give you, and this is a bit more technical than the average guitar player will know, but I want to make sure you guys know, when you play a harmonic on the 12th fret E string, or any of these harmonics here, that harmonic is happening right between the middle of the nut and the bridge in regards to its spacing. For you to be able to play chords all the way up the neck and have them be perfectly in tune, the intonation has to be set. So again, your Lutheran will take your bridge, he'll take the plastic piece out, or sometimes it's made of bone, he'll take that out and he'll cut it so that the distance between the bridge and the nut and the 12th fret is the same. So the distance between the bridge and the 12th fret is right, and the distance between the nut and the 12th fret is right. You cannot change the distance between the nut and the 12th fret because the nut is solid and it's in place. But you can change the distance in regards to the bridge distance. So bring this to your Lutheran, talk to him about action and intonation is what it's called. Get that set up properly, because there's nothing worse than trying to play with really, really heavy strings and you have way too high of action and you're fighting to try to play the chords. That's not going to be an enjoyable experience. Get the action down, get the intonation set, then you'll be off to the races, and you'll be able to play hundreds of songs over the period of a week, and your hand will not be tired. We're going to start with one song at a time, and I really want to make sure that you guys know that once you get that first song in place, practice it over and over and over again until you're 100% confident with it. Then go on to the next song. Okay? Because if you start learning how to play song after song after song, and you're not necessarily getting them tight and you're not able to perform them really well, that's not going to really help you in the campfire guitar player singer situation. So we call this Campfire Guitar Player Singer 101 because we're taking you right from the basics. We're going in pretending that you know absolutely nothing at all, and then we're going to work up from there. Okay, so this first video is just an introduction. As far as hot water, I'll have a Gatorade bottle full of water, or sometimes I have a hot water on cooler days. Right now we're up here in Canada. It's a bit cooler today, so I've got a neck warmer on. Keep your voice warm, keep your voice moist. That moist lubrication will help you sing for lots of hours. And you don't have to sing hard. A lot of people think that you have to sing really hard to get the notes. No, you don't. You can sing pretty much talking volume, and you'll do just fine. As a matter of fact, some of the tones that I use when I perform live, I've been performing live for about 34 years. The last 18 years I've been on cruise ships. Okay, so let's take a look at the first few chords you're going to learn, and this is going to be something that you're going to want to cement to memory. You don't want to have to be going back to look at the chords when you're starting to learn the song. You need those chords memorized 100%. You guys pretty cool with that? All right, we're going to give you a list of major chords, and we're going to give you a list of minor chords. Again, it's not practice makes perfect, it's perfect practice makes perfect. So take the time. Take the time to really let this information sink in. Take the time to really cement this information. Let this become your quality, concrete information. You need to build a concrete slab in which we can build on top of that. If you have a sawdust slab, or you have a slab made of sand, what's going to happen when we get to floor 3 and floor 4 and floor 5? It's going to crumble, right? Okay, so let's get you a really nice concrete slab, and then we're going to be able to build from there. All right, let's get started. Okay, so your first basic chords I want you to memorize are E, A, D, G, C, F, B. Okay, you get the idea? Now we're going to go slowly and we're going to show you what those are. Each note of each string will sound in the E chord. First will be the open E note. Go ahead and play that. The second note will be played with your second finger on the second fret. I have all the theory, but I'm not going to get into the theory of all this right now. I'm just going to give you the information that you need. Second fret, A string, played by the second finger. Okay. Play that. Good. Third string, third finger, second fret. Okay, so far we've got. Okay, now you're going to go to the G string and put your first finger on the first fret of the G string. Now we have. Go ahead and play that nice and cleanly. All strings are ringing cleanly. Good. The next string, the B string, is going to be open, and the high E is also going to be open. Together on the E major chord. You guys good with that? Nice and clean, every string is ringing cleanly. If you have a tough time, you've got smaller hands, you can notice how my thumb is going over top of the neck here. You can actually bring your thumb to the back of the neck if you have smaller hands and get those fingers standing right up. Get them standing right up. Okay. The guys that have bigger hands, make sure the thumb is not muting the E string. Keep it out of the way. Okay. Good. Next chord we're going to play is the A chord. Now there's two different ways to play the A chord. Correctly, we could play it this way. Now for Guitar Player Singer 101, I will play it with the first finger. Okay? Because you're going to be moving chords relatively quickly and you want to be able to play them cleanly. This is an important thing once you start getting into the song. So I'm going to suggest for now, you learn both ways. Okay? But later, we're going to push more for just that first finger. Let's give you the correct way first. A, open string. First finger on the second fret of the D string. Good. Second finger on the second fret of the G string. So far so good. Third finger on the B string, second fret. Good. And the top E string will be open. That's playing it correctly. Guitar Player Singer, we will sometimes play it with one finger. And you might not hear the top string because it's muted by the flesh of the end of the first finger. But it's a nice solid A chord. Okay? Feeling feeling good about that. Now we have E, we have A. Excellent, they work really well together. Third chord we're going to get into is D. Okay, so we're going to start with the open string D. Then we're going to go, you do have your strings memorized, right? All right, good. Open string D, first finger, second fret on the G string, first finger there. Okay, good. Third finger is going to be third fret on the B string. And then we're going to go to second finger, E string, second fret. Stop this video, go back a bit if you need to, pause and continue on if you need to review this. Pretty fair? That's your D chord. Alright, so now we have E, A, and D, which we can work with. Next chord's going to be G. These are all major chords. Later we're going to do minor chords. Okay, so G. Second finger, E string, third fret. Play that. Okay. First finger, second fret, A string. Good. Then the next few notes, D, G, are going to be open strings. So those are open strings, the two middle ones on the G chord. Pretty fair? All right. And then we're going to go third fret, third finger, B string. Okay. And the last string will be E. The E string, it's going to be a G note up top, third fret, fourth finger. This time, now we're using the fourth finger. Okay. This little guy will strengthen after a while. At first, it doesn't have a lot of strength to it, but that's okay. The more you use it, the more it will get strength. So know that's coming for you. If it doesn't sound clear, it sounds a little bit like that at first. Don't worry about it. Just keep working it, keep working it, keep working it. Again, as long as your action and your intonation is set up on your guitar, eventually you can look forward to a nice, clean, bellsy, ringing G chord. Pretty fair? All right, let's get into the C chord now. You're going to need this one as well. C. Okay, now there's two different ways that I play a C chord. I play the standard C major, but I also use this chord as well. And this is called the C9. We're not going to get into the theory of that, but it just sounds really nice sometimes. Instead of the C chord, you can throw a C9 in there, and it works perfectly fine. Okay? Now, let's take a look at what the C, it's a C add 9 is what it is. Okay, because we do have the third in there. So it's technically C add 9 for the theory buffs that are watching this. Okay, go ahead and leave a comment below about that. I'll be perfectly fine with that. Okay, here we go. C, the alternative C chord we'll call it. So you can have a C this way. Third fret, third finger, fourth fret on the A string, third fret, sorry, fourth finger, third fret, A string. Then you have your second finger, second fret, D string. G is open, so you get pretty fair. And then we've got the first finger, first fret, B string. And then we have the open E. It's in there as well. There we go, nice and clean. All right, those are great for some of the country chords as well as rock chords. So you have that C or you have this C. You can use both of those depending on the song, depending on the flavor. I'll get more into that later. The second C that I will use starts with the second finger, third fret, A string. Then you have first finger, second fret on the D string. Then you're going to have an open G. Then you're going to have the added 9 here, which is really quite a nice tone actually. It's the third fret, B string, third finger. Okay. And I'll also add the G up top, which is the third fret, E string. Pretty fair? All right. Make sure all strings are ringing cleanly. Go ahead and do that. All right. Okay, so we have E, A, D, G, C. Now we're going to move into what is called the bar chord. Okay, so again, your action is, it's really important that you have it set up so that you can press these notes down cleanly with the first finger. Okay, bar chords, just to review, your low E string. Okay, we're going to play first fret, F, second fret, F sharp, third fret, G, fourth fret, G sharp, fifth fret, A, sixth fret, A sharp, and seventh fret, B. Alright, so let's just use those for now. Okay, we're going to use this example. This is the intro to bar chords. So our F major chord has the one right across our first finger right across that first fret. Then we're going to take our third finger and place it on the next string up, 2 frets up. Okay, so you have that. Then you're going to take your fourth finger and it's going to play the next note 2 frets up from the first bar chord. Get that? Now this finger here decides if it's major or minor. So if you press it down on the next string, okay, go ahead and play that. You have a F major chord. If you take this finger off and you play the note here by the first finger, that's a minor chord. Okay, so major with this finger on, minor with that finger off. Both major and minor, you're going to have the first finger playing the top 2 strings. Pretty fair? All right, so you get this. Now the bar chord is excellent because you can move it. So this is an F major chord. This would be an F minor chord. Get the idea? What happens if we move this whole shape up 1 fret? Exactly, the quality stay the same, but the note value changes. So this is now an F sharp. So what would this be? With this finger down, F sharp major. And if you take this finger off, F sharp minor. Okay, hang on to that information. Review this if you need to. If the root of this next chord is on the E string, 3rd fret, we know now that is G. That's a G note. If I apply the major shape to that, I get a G major. If I lift this finger off, I get a G minor. Now you're starting to be able to make use of these chords a little bit more. Good. And of course this would be G sharp major, G sharp minor, A major, A minor, A sharp major, A sharp minor, B major, B minor. Okay, I know, I'm making it look easy. You will as well too, once the muscles start developing a little bit. Not a big deal, it's coming, so take your time, take your time. So we're gonna go into a second bar chord shape. The second bar chord shape is all about the A string. The A string, open, A. First note on the A string is A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E. We're just going to go there for now, okay? So again, memorize those notes because as the shape moves, the quality of the chord changes. So here's your A chord. Remember this one? We just played that shortly ago, okay? If we take that shape and we pretend that's the 3rd finger, now we move the nut, which is played with the open string. What if we move that whole thing up 1 fret? Now the nut, your first finger becomes a nut, right? Excellent. That's a B flat or A sharp major chord, okay? Now, how to make this shape minor? Okay, if I'm going first finger on the root, in this case A sharp, and I'm using my 3rd finger and flattening it across the next 3 strings, you're going to have, oh sorry, there's your root. Okay, go ahead and play that. Across the next 3 strings, the root is here, A sharp major. Now, the note we're going to change is that note there that's on that B string. We're going to bring that down to there, and we're going to play it with the 2nd finger. Now we have the A sharp minor. Okay, A sharp major, played with the 3 strings, the 3 notes being played by the 3rd finger. A sharp minor, the B string goes from. Okay, get the idea? We're flattening the 3rd semitone, but that's theory. We don't want to get into theory right now. We're keeping it basic, just knowing what to do. Okay, so A sharp major. What if we moved it to here? Well, you now know that the 2nd fret on the A string is called a B. Therefore, this will become a B major. Very good. How do we make the B major minor? Take this note and flatten it half a step. Right. B minor. What's this note on the A string? Remember that one? C. So this would be C major. Good. We take that note and we flatten it a half a step and we get C minor. Yeah, all the while the first finger can be playing the high E string as well. So the full chord would be, you can hear me playing the top note with the first finger. I'm actually playing with this finger here, okay? And again, I'm playing the first finger's playing this note and this note. Okay, so now we're into C sharp major, C sharp minor, D major, D minor, You get the idea. Next note on the A string would be D sharp, so therefore this would be a D major, this would be D sharp minor, D sharp major, D sharp minor, E major, E minor. Now where else do we know there's an E major and E minor? Right here. E major, E minor. Now you know this is an E major and this is an E minor. Two different ways to play the same two chords. Alright, getting back up here doing my editing, I realized there's two chords I did not give you. Let's get into those now. We have A minor. That's A is the open string. Second fret on the D string. Third fret on the G. Second fret. And first finger over here on the B string. And the open A, E. So, A minor. Good. And we also need D minor as well. Birds are loving this. We have D. Open D string. Second finger, second fret, G string. Third finger, third fret, B string. And first fret, first finger, E string. D minor, A minor, and D minor. You guys good with that? Alright, let's get back into it. Okay, so I've given you lots right now. You need to memorize this. So review this video as many times as you need to, and then we're going to get into the vocal warm-up. How you guys doing? You alright? Okay. Go ahead and practice that, commit that to memory, then let's go forward.